Wow, such an amazing time again to come back here and to, do this. It's so beautiful to do this again, and we are so much ready to have you. I've got um I've got our speaker ready to come on. I've got everything is set for you to learn from, and it's so beautiful to know that we are all here, we are all set. Yes, our host is more than ready to have us, and that is me. And our speaker is also much more than ready to join, and I am bursting with so much excitement because so much has gone into this, and she's actually waiting for me to add her, so she's here already with us. Yeah, so good, so good. Thank you so much, everybody, everyone joining us from wherever you are in any part of the world. Our host is so much ready, and it's so beautiful to have her here with us. Thank you so much, Ma. She will be showing her face very, very soon. But while she's preparing to do that, I want to welcome everybody on here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for having this on mind or in your mind, in your schedule, and having everything put together just for you to attend this webinar this evening. Thank you so much. For people who probably don't understand what is going on, my name is Lola, and I am a registered nurse here in the United Kingdom and in Nigeria. And I practice as a nurse currently, and I am also passionate about public health, educating the public about their health, preventive measures, health promotion, and just everything to ensure that you are living so well according to the full potential, ensuring that your body is functioning well. Because no matter how much you have in your inside, if the body is not there to carry it out, it's as good as not being not having them in the first place. So that is why I'm organizing, health talks, ways by which you can manage your health, by which, so that you can function well, so that, you are not stuck at any point of your life, and you are not malfunctioning, as the case may be. And of course, life is essentially with different aspects, different ways by which we grow. Okay, so there is the starting phase, there is the process phase or the in-between phase, and then there is this transition phase. So we are talking about menopause today because we have this as one of the things that women go through, and sometimes we don't talk about it. We just expect people to just roll on with life and just continue, and just whatever you see, just manage. We don't talk about these things, so that is why we are bringing this webinar here. And as you can see, our also ready to have us. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming. Thank you for putting us in your schedule. I know it was very tight, but you were able to make it today. Thank you so much, Ma. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much, Ma. And please, for everyone watching, let's keep our comments civil as much as possible. I understand that probably, it might not be something you're interested in. If you are not interested, just by all means, you can exit. But let's keep our comments civil as much as possible. Okay. And I also want to plead with the other side of people. You don't have to exchange words with people. Just leave them, to comment whatever they want to comment. And we will keep our focus on why we are here, and we will not be distracted. So we still have 4 more minutes before we start, and we are so much pumped up and ready. I'm sure plenty people are coming for Pastor Mrs. today. They want to hear Pastor Mrs. speak. Yes, I know people, a lot of people that will not mention your name. People from from where we know ourselves, they are coming to hear Pastor Mrs. speak today. It's fine. She's Pastor Mrs. Abidemi Oladipo. So if you hear me saying Pastor Mrs., that is what we call her. So
Abby. I'm Abby.
That is what we call her.
I'm Abby.
So we'll be starting in like 4 minutes. Thank you so much, Mommy, for coming. Thank you so much, Mom. It's so, so nice. Yes, I believe in Jesus Christ. Who's asking that question? Thank you. Let's keep the focus on why we are here today. Okay, we are Christians, and I think that should be obvious already, because we have the joy, we have everything around us. That should be obvious. So let's keep the focus on why we are here, to learn about menopause. So you can send the link to your friend, your family, people around you, so that they can come and learn. And obviously, even if you're a man, you can learn about what's happening to mom, what's happening to your sister, to your friend. You can come and learn about this, so that you can know how to help, or how to educate, and or how to navigate, depending on who is around you. Okay, we've got 3 more minutes, 3 good minutes. So yeah, we are going to start. Once again, this program, or this series, is all about educating people about their health, and ensuring health promotion, disease prevention, and to ensure that people live optimally according to their times, according to the strengths, according to the things that they are capable of doing, and essentially taking care of their own body, being aware of what is going on in their body, not just waking up and then you see things happening differently in your body, and you are just expected to cope with it. In case you wake up one day and you see that, okay, menstruation has stopped, what do I do? Just come back on this channel and come and learn about what to do. Just come and watch this video. It will always be here. Just come and learn about what to do. In case your mom tells you that, oh, my message has stopped coming, just refer this video to her. Send the link to this video to her. In case you're just anybody around you, and in case it is you as a female or as a woman, you see that these bodily changes are coming gradually. You notice the changes gradually towards the end of it. You can come and watch this video. So that is just a brief introduction about this program. And today we have menopause as a topic. We'll be talking about understanding menopause, myths and conceptions and misconceptions. We'll be talking about managing symptoms, different things that happen, how to also live your life optimally while you are transitioning into menopause. Your physical, mental, sexual health will be discussed today. Common health problems in menopause, weight management, community support, and then you can have your question, and anything you want to ask, you can put it in the comment section. So I will briefly introduce Mrs. Oladipo. She has a high profile, and what I'm just going to be saying today is just summary, because we cannot say everything that she is. She's a great woman, one of the people that move things for God. And I'm not saying this to flatter her. She knows that she's that person of high profile. She moves, she does great things for God, both in a large group of people and even individually. If you come in contact with her, you will know that she's that person that you don't have to pretend to be around. She's that sweet, and she's ready to come down to anyone's level, to explain to you whatever it is that you come to her for. Even if she will not judge you, she will tell you that this is what I think you've done wrong, this is what I think you can do right, and this is where I think you can adjust. She is that kind of person, and I'm privileged to have her in my life, and not just that, to have her actively in my life, because there are people you have in your life, and there are people that are not actively in your life. Yeah, she's one of those people that we are blessed to have in our lives. So I'm just going to be reading her profile, very quickly. Mrs. Abidemi Oladipo is from Lagos, Nigeria, born over 5 decades ago, precisely 1970. She's a social care practitioner, a Nigerian registered nurse and midwife. She qualified as an RGN in 1992, and RGM, that's registered midwife, principal nurse superintendent in 2020. 2005 from Lagos State Teaching Hospital, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria, and moved to Europe with her husband. She's a graduate of of Technological of University of Technological Institute, University of Shannon, Athlone, Republic of Ireland, where she studied Bachelor's of Arts in Applied Social Studies in Social Care. She is a certified counselor of Christian counselors and ordained pastor in Redeemed Christian Church of God. She currently co-pastors with her husband at RCCG Living Praise Sunderland, founder of a non-governmental charity organization, Abiola Foundation, birthed in 2020 in Nigeria and UK, that supports people living with disability and migrants, providing adequate help and support to address health, social, and economic issues that impact daily lives of immigrants. She currently works as an advocate in one of the leading advocacy companies in the United Kingdom. She is passionate about support for families and marriage. She Pastor Mrs. Abidemi Oladipo is happily married 25 years ago to a pastor and pharmacist, Adeniro Oladipo. She is blessed with three girls together with Pastor Adeniro Oladipo. It's such it was hard to call pastor like that. Like I didn't have to put pastor in front. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming on here tonight. Thank you so much for coming to share with us, for giving your time and space and resources for this course. Thank you so much, Ma. So without further ado, we will just dive right into why we are here. And I will give the mic to Pastor Mrs. Oladipo to share with us, what we need to know about menopause and, some of the things that she has prepared for us. I know that she has, something that is going to reach out to a wider scope of people. She will explain to you the way you will know. She will not necessarily talk in medical terms. Just be
Oh,
ready
good,
and be willing to learn, and
good,
you will learn. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming.
good. Good. It's an honor to be here. Good evening, everybody. It's an honor
Good
to be
evening, Ma.
here. Thank you for inviting me, Lola.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you for
I'm
coming.
actually not taking this for granted as well.
Yeah.
Uh, just simply call me Abby. My name is Abby. Call me Abby. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here. And like she said, you know, um, uh, uh, what am I going to say now? I was going to say, I wasn't going to hide that I'm actually in my menopause age now, stage there. I'm there. I'm there. I'm actually a good example. I'm actually a
Wow.
good example. So at times when you're describing something, it's good that you have experienced that thing, and you are
Yeah.
going to actually you can empathize with whoever is on that stage. So you will actually put your you can so I can have, actually put myself in that situation, and we're going to kick start right now. Like Lola said, we're going to be talking about what menopause is, the signs and symptoms menopause, the misconception about menopause, the stages of menopause. There is what we call pathophysiology of menopause. What really happened? Is like you're swallowing. There is a process. There are things associated with that makes swallowing possible. If it's digestion, there's usually a process that makes digestion possible. So there are things that are really not visible to the eyes, but they are internal things, and there are connection of one or two things that make things very possible. One thing that I'm not really very happy about is that we're not able to share slide. You understand? Because I'm a visual learner, and I want to believe that things like this really need to be, to be visualized a piece. But we tried making it, visible in terms of teaching, to have slides, where people can just read. But you know what? Lola, you said something that I'm actually going to talk like I'm talking to somebody on the street. who is not really medically inclined at all. Because if I actually be putting our medical jargons, it can actually sound boring. And I'm actually going to be raw. I'm not going to call some, because we don't have babies around there. We don't have babies around there. We have adults. We have
Yeah.
matured adults. And what we are actually going to be saying here, we are not asking you not to go to the hospital. I'm not actually impersonating or being a doctor. I'm not prescribing. I've lived as a pharmacist all my life. But all the same, I don't know how to take medication, and we don't abuse medication. So I will never,
Mhm.
I wouldn't advise you not to go to the hospital when you see certain things. And we're actually not treating, we're not discussing a disease here. We are discussing something very natural about life, something very natural, something that is true, something that when you, no matter how, how fearful you are, how you feel scared about it, how unprepared you are, you're still going to go there. You're going to get to that stage. Are you getting it? You're going to get to that stage. Even if you are 1 year old today, at the time in your life, you're going to get to your menopausal age. So we're going to go there.
Absolutely.
What is menopause? What is menopause? For us to understand in a very simple language, it's the end of a rainfall. That's just it. It's the end of a rainfall. At a particular time of the year, maybe this could be very, very it's peculiar to Africa, where we have much of rainfall. We have dry season, wet season, rainy season, dry season. But menopause, it's the end of the beginning of rain. So in every woman, as God as we have been created when we were born, this the things that make menopause, to actually occur, is already actually in us from the time we were born. The structures are in place in us. So what I mean by, let me give you the right definition of menopause that I have. So for us to have a very simple understanding of it, that was why I said it is what it is in that way. Just give me a little time, and I'm going to go to my notes. Menopause is the time before, sorry, menopause is the time, is the end of menstruation, is the end of menstruation. So, but while menstruation itself is the beginning, menstruation is the beginning of bleeding period, where a woman gets to, the process where you have your menses. That's what we call it, and that is the start of the rain. That's when the rain starts, and that's called menarche. Some people call it menarche, some people call it menarche. So that's the start. That monthly flow from a woman's vagina every month. The regular thing is done every month, and it goes for about 28 days. That is what is called menstruation. So at a time in that woman's life, that menstruation, which is cycle, it is called menstrual cycle, is actually going to come to an end. So the end of it is called menopause. The end of it is called menopause. You'll be wondering, oh, what brings about that blood flow? What brings about that blood flow? You see, in the body, in the brain, right under our skull, at the back of the neck, there is a structure that is called pituitary gland. Beside it, that's where the hypothalamus is located. And in the hypothalamus, you have function of in the hypothalamus, you have the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is just like a pear-shaped, pear structure size organ. And it has so many functions that it does. But one of those things that it does is that it actually produces, reproductive hormones. It does a lot of things. a lot of things, regulating body temperature, how we move, the way we see. It's the powerhouse of the body. When I mean the powerhouse, because it actually does a lot of, they call it the master gland. And that's, it controls all the endocrine system. Endocrine system is made of, a system where you have all the hormones of the body. You see, me talking, me have been able to blink, to do a lot of things, to know that I'm cold or I'm not cold, to have a feeling, to shiver and all those things. That is actually, what the pituitary gland, the endocrine system does. So when we are menstruating, before you know the end of the rain, we must actually know the start of the rain. I said the start of the rain is the menstruation. So when menstruation is a cycle, and it goes on and on and on and on like that every month. So when menstruation is about to happen, there is a signal sent to the brain. It sends it to the brain and the pituitary gland. We need your help now. And what it does is that it's going to stimulate it to produce an hormone that is called follicle stimulating hormone. They call it FSH. It produces, what it does is that it's a kind of reproductive hormone. We have it in women, and we have it in men. You understand? But in women, where it works mainly, it's on your ovaries. A woman has got, two ovaries, two fallopian tube, one uterus. If it's two uteruses, it is abnormal. If it is four fallopian tube, it is abnormal. But if it is one, it still functions anyway. But it still will do the same. But it is usually two. So what happened to the when the follicle stimulating hormone is produced? It just go to the ovaries of the woman and it stimulates them. Please, we need your help. You need it works on on the ovaries, because the ovaries, that's where we have the cells where the eggs, you know, is being produced. The egg that is coming to meet the man's sperm. Are you getting me now? So it is in the ovaries that it happens. So for a lot of women, if an ovary is diseased, there is problem, the hormones are not forthcoming. That's where the infertility issues at times falls back. So that's where it arises. Are you get? I want us to be I want us to just to monitor
Wow.
what I'm saying. Because if you know the end
Yes,
of
ma'am.
a rain, you must know the start of a rain. I'm taking you through the journey of how menstruation occurs. So when the ovaries are now the follicle stimulating hormone have stimulated the ovaries, you begin to work. When you stimulate them, all the cells within the ovary, they are now very eager. They are, at that time, this cycle takes it's within about 13 days. Then that period is called, it's what we call ovulation. The ovary itself now begin to produce its own hormone. Though have woken the ovary up. Get up, get up, get up. You have to do your work. So its work is now to produce what is called estrogen. The estrogen now takes batting from follicle stimulating hormone. They take their journey into the fallopian tube. I told you that we have two tubes, fallopian tube. At the fallopian tube,
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
where, in case there is any lovey, dovey, and there is sex, they meet there and the fertilization takes place there. The ovaries have produced its own hormone, which is called estrogen. The work of that estrogen, in case there is fertilization, and it goes to work on the uterus, that is the womb, begin to get it ready, moisten it, make it lubricant. It's just like a farmer who is getting ready is soil in order to plant a maize or any seed there. So all these things happen simultaneously, but it's within a range of 14 days. In case you're looking forward to having a baby, that's the period. When you look through your vagina, you see something mucoid, something like the white part of an egg, whitish, not too whitish, translucent in such a way that it's not really like white. That's the period you're gonna grab daddy or your boyfriend, whatever you grabbed. That's the most reliable time to conceive. But in case there is no now conception, the uterus feels so disappointed and would want to cry. At that time, the follicle stimulate the estrogen level drops. The follicle stimulating hormone drops back as well. And the uterus feels so disappointed and begins to cry. And the cry now, the walls of the uterus now begin to shed because it was just so disappointed that there wasn't any sperm there to fertilize me. So there is no need keeping that place for it. You've taken all your donuts, just throw away the pad, throw away the pack. So that's what the uterus just do. The uterus just feels disappointed and shed tears. So the tears that comes out of the vagina, that's the menstruation. In, but if there is fertilization, it begins to grow and there will be no cycle of menstruation again. But if there is disappointment, the cycle begins again. So for this cycle, it varies in women, and that's what's going to lead us to the stages of menopause. At the end of this last, but most menopause period starts from age 45 to 55. It is in a range of 10 years. 10 years. It could start earlier in some people. It could start earlier in some people, but averagely, most of the time, it will start when you are age 45 to 50. That's why it's usually, for women, our whatever we want to do, it's usually seasonal. It's seasonal. So your chances and the probability of conceiving lies between the age from 45 downward. I'm not saying you're not going to be pregnant, that you cannot be pregnant. I'm not a doctor, but science says that between the science and natural nature says that between 45, your chances, your ability to be able to have a child at from 45 upward decreases than where where you have your productive age. At that period from age 45, from 45 upward, the luteinizing hormone, the estrogen, they will begin. There's what we call conventional rain. When you have conventional rain, at a time you will see that it rains in Sokoto or it rains in Middlesbrough, it's not raining in South Shift because the rain is trying to pack its load. The rain is trying to cease. So from age 45, but it varies with women. For example, in Asian women, it takes them longer time to fall into menopause. But for African women, it takes them at 45, some 40, some 42, they begin to go through that stages of getting ready. So I'm going to take us through the stages of menopause now before we go into the sign. There's what we call premenopause. Premenopause can last for about it can last it's just a preparatory pre. It's just a stage where you premenopause, a stage that you get ready. At that time, you're still gonna be flowing. You are likely to still be flowing, to still have blood, but the regularity of your blood may not be as when you were like, before premenopause. Are you getting what I'm saying? So you're still likely to get pregnant. You are still likely to see some changes within you. Your mood can be can be changing. In essence, in summary, what you are going to be experiencing in that state is just a glimpse of what you are going to be experiencing when you get to when you are in menopause stage. You are not totally there. So it can be dangerous for somebody like me when I was around that age. And the psychology of menopause is that you don't really have to like Am I many? When you're like you're searching for a thing. For me, I was just
Mm.
natural about it. Age hasn't got nothing to do with me. I wasn't really particular about it. I went through some stages. I tell you, I did not know. I did not know. The only thing I knew was that my blood cyst. You get me? But for
Wow.
all others, for the pre, I didn't know. I was just me. I wasn't I wasn't particular about whatever I was in because it was I was just that's the only time that's what can make you enjoy that stage. Life is the stage. Life comes in stages. For whatever stage that you are, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Don't be bothered about it, except it want to present with some other sign that could get you worried. Then you can say, okay, I want to see the doctor. I'm having this headache. You want to rule out that it's not high blood pressure. You want to rule out that
Mm.
you don't have glaucoma. You want to rule out that something internal is happening. So that can actually, I'm not saying you should not go to doctor. You can go to doctor. So you are still likely to experience, blood flow. So there is another state that is called peri, and that can last for about 4 years. You shouldn't see such signs like the main signs of menopause, which we'll be discussing later. You shouldn't see that sign and now be assuming that it's happening. So, but even if it shows up, you just manage the symptoms as it comes. For whatever it shows on you, just manage, as it comes. So we have the second stage, which is perimenopause. Perimenopause, it's just the period around it. You are actually packing your luggage. You are moving into it. It's like the stages in at the airport. At the airport, you check in, you drop your load. Are you already in the plane? You're not in the plane. You're going to pass through the
No.
security. You're not going to pass through the security. The security stage is just the peri. So the pre-menopausal now, you have passed through the security and you are now between your gates of boarding to where you're going to show where you're going to go into the flight. That is
Mm.
actually the stage of perimenopause. It's just around it. You're not yet in the airport. You can't call home and say, I'm on the flight now. See you next day. No, you can't say that. That's the stage. The stage you're not going to be having intermittent flow of blood. You can be having a little of what we call red what's this called now? Flashes. Flashes. Flashes is just a kind of sweat. It's like it's vascular. It's as a result of vascular things happening within you. Sudden
Mm.
shunt of blood to your heart, just a gush of activation of the heart that causes a reaction on your skin, and you begin to sweat. You begin to. Some people, it depends on their color. For most African women, it may actually not show on your color except you have light skin. They have this,
Mm.
they have sweat all over. Mostly this thing happen in the night. I'm not gonna lie to you. I experienced that. We have two,
Wow.
there is my room, this is our bedroom. There is cross ventilation. When I say cross ventilation, we live in parts of the country where it's very cold. I should be
Mm.
I should be shivering on the bed. My bed to my pillow will be wet.
Wow.
I wasn't even thinking of menopause, honestly. That was about 2 years ago. I wasn't thinking, and I was 52 then. I wasn't thinking about it. My bed would be hot. I say, I would tell my husband, I think I'm hot. There are times I'll take off my pajamas and I would lie just naked. It's as bad as that. So you can be experiencing that at that age. And
Wow.
that could last for about 6 years. 6 years. It's not usually regular. It's not usually consistent. It comes off and on. It comes off and on. It comes off and on until when you now get to what is called the menopause. The menopause is the stage where the blood does not come out at all. It ceases. Oh my God, I'm
Sorry,
in that stage.
sorry, Mom. I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask Ma. So all these symptoms that you saw, we have not even started.
No.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
I was still flowing. I was still flowing a bit. It's not regular flow.
Wow.
I was spotting. I was potting. So after, because you see, for you to get into menopause, for you to be to say and confirm that you have are actually gotten into menopause, you are going to experience 1 year of you experiencing that you are not flowing at all. One full
Oh.
whole year that you are not. It's just like saying you don't declare somebody missing until the person has not been seen for 24 hours. If 8 hours,
Yeah.
you can't go and declare to the police
Wow.
that the guy, somebody is missing. If after
Mm.
24 hours, you have not seen the person. In fact, if you go to the police station, they will tell you, since when, madam, have you been looking for her? 8 a.m., 8 p.m. yesterday night, and you came to report in the police station at 5. They will tell you that the person is not yet missing. You can go and ask whoever, ask whoever. So for menopause to actually occur within you, for you to now declare that you have attained menopause, you can now say for a year I did not have a flow.
Hmm.
Then at that stage, you can now say yes, I, Abidemi Oladipo, am now in my menopause stage. At that stage, then that's going to take us to the signs and symptoms of menopause.
Oh.
Signs and symptoms of menopause. We have so many changes. And like I tell you, the misconception about menopause is not a disease, it's a natural occurrence in every reproductive woman stage life of a woman. Are you getting me? It is
Yes,
controlled
ma'am.
by hormones in the body. It is the cessation and the stop and the natural use, because naturally that's the normal tear and wearing and tearing that occurs in a woman's life. So it
Mm.
comes to an end. It's a journey, and at that journey we call it an end to that journey, and that's what we call menopause. Are you getting me? So what are those signs?
Yes, ma'am.
Because those hormones are such natural fluid that does a lot of work. We have mentioned about follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. They principally work on the reproductive organ of a woman, but
Mhm.
indirectly, there are things they do as well behind closed doors, behind the doors. So when menstruation occurs, so the effect of their withdrawal shows and tells on other system as well. That's where you. That's what
Wow.
take us. Yeah, that's what take us to signs and symptoms of menopause. Changes and challenges and changes during menopause. Urological changes. You know what? When you're in menopause, because even your bladder is lubricated, the effects, of the withdrawal of that hormones goes out of the circulation,
Hmm.
because the bladder is a balloon. It's something like this. It's a balloon. It's a structure. It's like this. Because the hormones are withdrawn, it's just like your skin. By the time you're getting old, the production of what makes your skin to be glossy, aging will decrease in the production of those things. And what do you now observe? You observe that the skin will now be getting wrinkled. You now have folds.
Hmm.
The same thing happened to your bladder. There will be folds in the bladder because those things that lubricate them and help them to function and flow up, all they are getting withdrawn, and it now folds. The fold, when you now begin to have folds in your bladder, in your bladder, the corners where you have those fluids, there's likelihood that bacteria hide in between those folds. But the bacteria will hide
Hmm.
in between the folds of your bladder. They hide there, and so the chances that you're going to have UTI is high.
Yeah.
If I'm
Hmm.
not a trusted woman, for example, if I come back home and I have UTI, even as at my menopausal age, your partner can suspect you.
Hmm.
Where did you get that from? You'll be itching. You can have painful, urination. What is it called? Painful. When you urinate, it becomes painful because you
Dysuria.
have UTI. Dysuria. Thank you. God bless you. You can have dysuria, pain. You can begin to, it can even lead to the height of it if it's not treated. Number two, the
Mm.
estrogen helps to lubricate the vagina. It lubricates the vagina. The vagina is not supposed to be dry. It's supposed to be subtle as well. If I wouldn't describe vagina for you, you should be able to describe that. It's supposed to be lubricated in such a way that when coitus, is taking place after erection,
Mm.
there should be free access where the plane just go through the tarmac and goes off. Where you have where you have the plane at the airport at the tarmac is usually very free, no obstruction. But when menopause
Mm.
occurs, you know what happened? It is now very dry because all the farmers have withdrawn their tools. Follicle stimulating hormone is gone back home. Luteinizing hormone is gone back home. The place is going to be dry. It's going to be
Mm.
dry. Sex can be very painful. Can be very painful. There can be itching. It tends to itch more because those normal, fluid that is coming, they have all gone back to where they actually came from. So you're likely so that they function, so that the neurological changes that is, that you can have. So the vagina changes. The vagina becomes thin, lower, secretion dry, painful intercourse. There can be likely to be vagina and to be bacteria in the vagina as well. And the chances that you have infection is high. So we're going to be talking about what is okay. I still have more time. And there's going to be what we call neurological changes. When we talk about neurological changes, it's talking about your thinking because that's why I've met somebody who describes, don't let that woman fool you. You don't know whether she's in her menopause. She can nag you at you, and she can transfer aggression at you, on you. The reason being that the cognitive system, the effect that those hormones are getting withdrawn is going to affect our mood. It's going to affect. That's why men really need to listen to us, listen to this talk, and
Mm.
know why we swing, we nag, we get angry, we get over what should not really, take get us angry. It's
Mm.
because of that stage that we have. There are receptors in the brain cells where estrogen as well do a bit of work. But because they are no longer in the system, the ability and the ability for the brain now to coordinate and function like it used to, it won't. There's memory loss. You're holding your phone, you can't even remember you're holding your phone. Your car key is in front of you can't even remember because you're having blood vision, you can't see a lot of things.
Wow.
It's not because of you. You tend to forget a lot of things. You wake up in the morning, you don't know whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday. Oh my God. You are not coordinating. They are talking to you. You're far away. That's because your brain cells lack certain hormones that should help you think and coordinate well. And that's
Mm.
why a bit of dementia, Alzheimer's, all those memory, diseases is attributed. It occurs during the menopausal stage for some women. Some people will go through it, some people it doesn't. But most women, especially the Caucasians, it affects them most at that stage. In Africa, they can say you are a witch and they begin to beat you and everything. Meanwhile, you are in your menopausal stage where the brain cells, are not really coordinating again. There can be headache at that time. Headache because there is a lot of constriction of the blood vessels in the brain. There is, infarction. The brain cells begin to, depreciate in nature. It's like wear and tear of a house, wear and tear of a tire. Everything is getting degenerated. And there is actually nothing you can do about something. You don't go and do surgery to bring back something. You want to bring back menstrual cycle. You want to put in your luteinizing or you bring back your hormone. Except those things occur before at your reproductive age. For example, women who go for
Mm.
infertility, tests and examination and gross takes, for example, they can check, oh, what's air? Your luteinizing hormone is low, your follicle stimulating, your pituitary gland is not as active as whatever. So those things they can now begin to give you artificially. So what causes the infertility in you may not be the same thing as what is causing infertility in me. You can't take the infertility drug that my doctor has given me. Hey, when they gave me one vitamin E like this, it was the next month I conceived. Who told you? What did you see?
Mm.
So what is causing infertility in you could be some people don't have ovary, some people have one fallopian tube, some people have
Mm.
one block tubes, some people their hormonal level is regular and is active, but some people their husband cells is in azoospermia, it is no past sperm cell. So
Mm.
those are the things that that people are subjected to, especially when they are in their reproductive age. We have talked about neurological changes, vaginal changes, neurological changes, urological. Urological has got to do with urine, with kidney and your urinary tract. I've talked about hot flashes, where you have sweating, you get to sweat, you get to feel dizzy suddenly, you have this headache, you have this itching, you have this dizziness, and that's very common really with everyone. Even this sign you can see it before you enter your menopausal age, before you enter the period where you are not bleeding at all. So it's an occur. You got to have joint pain, that is your what is it called, your joint, where two bones, where your bones meet, the junction. For example, this is a joint under my heartbeat, my hip and my leg, and you can't walk long distance again because all for movement to occur, there are a lot of activities and a lot of touches where the muscular system as well, they are fed through the work and the functions of hormones. Because they are withdrawn, the tone, the elasticity, of those muscles gets weakened. Any little thing you
Mm.
begin to feel pain, your nerves endings are now sharp. That's why any little walk, you're not feeling pain. So that's happened. Thyroid function, that affects, that's the main thing as well. You have thyroid disorder at that time. Your thyroid regulates your metabolism. Metabolism is the way you break out your blood cells and your food, whatever you eat, you break it into smaller versions, smaller molecule in which the body can make use of it. If I take bread, for example, if I take my local food, for example, it doesn't get into my kidney, it doesn't get to my heart, it doesn't get to all the organs where they are needed immediately. So metabolism is the breaking down of whatever you eat, whatever you take into your body, into a smaller form, into a smaller where the body is able to absorb it through all the cells. When you are in your menopausal age, your metabolic rates begin to decline, begin to slow. Instead of you now breaking down, most of those things you eat, they are not broken down. They are stored under your tissues. They are stored under your tissue. They are
Mm.
stored here, under your fat, under your skin. Then a lot of women at that time begin to gain weight. They begin to gain weight. Madam, why are you now fat like this? The husband is now, somebody who is over 50, you are talking about her weight. A lot of things is going on in our system, for God's sake. And at that time, you may even not be, you may not even be very mindful of what you eat. You just feel that you are tired.
Mm.
You're just trying to compensate and just use, diversional therapy on yourself, any little thing around you. But you're not even helping yourself at that stage. So your metabolic rate is slow. It's very slow. So the tendency that this is at the stage that you should not be mindful of what you eat, because your breakdown, especially carbohydrates, it is at that time you store it, you retain it. So
Mm.
that's about a bit of the function. So for those things that we have now seen, for those things that have been presented, what do you now do as a menopausal woman psychologically? There are ways in things that you accept things in life. Be joyful about it. For me, at times, I rejoice in my pain. I rejoice in my joy. I
Mm.
rejoice in my happiness. I just, even if it's bad stage, I just believe that at that stage I'm gonna get off it. So the only way you can enjoy a menopausal age is to accept it, and be natural about it. So that's gonna take me to what the second thing is about, the kind of food you're gonna take at this time. The kind of food you're going to take at this time. At this time, you're going to be mindful of the kind, especially carbohydrate. Carbohydrate, because you are adding a lot of fats at this time. You're adding a lot of you have higher, chances of actually gaining weight. So what you should be very mindful of is for you to reduce your carbohydrate, for you to take a lot of, vegetable, even the normal eat. People who are not even under at the stage of menopause, you are expected to take good food. Take nuts, take fibers, those things that can help, not to retain things within you, that can help your bowel to, to function very well. You can take less of yogurt, but take healthy yogurt, take healthy fats. Healthy fat, take good proteins. There are healthy proteins, there are proteins that is not, good for you. There are fruits that are proteinous. Take broccoli. Take things that you know why you should take fruit and vegetable. Fruit and vegetables helps easily digest. Are you getting me? They easily digest because your body is now under a regime where the functioning nature and the functioning power and ability has been reduced. So you want to put in your system what you will not overload your organs,
Mm.
what you not overload your digestive system, what we easily digest, what you take to bed, what we easily digest. You don't take beats in the night. You're a menopausal woman. Well, it takes longer for protein to be digested than for carbohydrates. Now, even the carbohydrate that is digested easily, it's not going to be one of your routine food that you should be taking. At a time last year, I think I went to see my doctor. Ah, it was a particular sign I saw, and it was menopause. When I got there, the doctor said, Madam, how old are you? I said, Ma'am, I think I'm 5'3". Oh, so for him, he was able to diagnose me because when I got there, he was like, yeah. He said, are you sure you're 5'3"? I said, excuse me, sir, I am 5'3". He said, but if it is 5'3", I think this is menopause, madam. He quickly diagnosed me. You get me? But he now said, one thing I can do. He said, if you can lose your weight, if you can lose a bit of weight, I said, lose a bit of weight. When I got home, I told my friend, Mommy, what are you going to lose? You are not going to lose. So my PA will tell me, Mommy, you are okay like this, the way you are. You know what I did? I stopped all carbohydrates. Lola knew about it. I stopped all my carbohydrate diet at that time. I was eating broccoli, making broccoli in bolos. I could eat broccoli like my mashed eba and yam. I could eat it. I crashed and I lost weight. I enjoyed
Mm.
myself. I loved myself. I could move around. I could go to toilet easily without ease. So those you don't overload your system. You take oil. You can still get to eat your normal food, but take them in lower proportion. Don't start overloading yourself. You
Mm.
like you love a bar, for example, and you love your mashed potato, for example. You don't want to take mashed potato off your diet immediately. You can take the feast or the size of feast, for example, and you load it with a lot of vegetable. And gradually you begin to reduce your portion, begin to reduce your portion. I'm going to advise you, if you are in your menopausal age or you have somebody, just take them on a journey of food. You can find them online, food that are good and that will meet your menopausal, eh, food or meal, for example. Take a lot of water, excuse me, and you go exercising. You see, by the time you exercise, you don't need to take active exercise, just take something mild, taking a walk with your partner, walk down. You are going to help your body to gain tone, those natural tone your muscles has lost to the cause of menopause. You are going to attain there because there is a way you help the muscle to get up. It's like, patting
Mm.
them on the head. Walks picks up muscle. It brings them back to getting their tone and their elasticity. But when you leave them without activating them, they lose tone, they lose power, they get dormant. That's what
Mm.
happens. But when you, even if it's just getting up in the morning, just getting down in the morning, doing, a bit of squats, can't it? If it's 10, if it's 20, if it is regular, you don't need to want to shed 20 kilo in 1 week. You're getting, your system will crash. The kidney will know that you are putting much pressure. Your brain will know that that's too much for them. Do something light that suits and fits your system. Cellular, is anything I've left out?
Mm.
Is anything I've left out?
No, ma. No, 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 ma. Although there are questions, but when you are
Okay.
finished, we'll now treat the questions, ma.
Okay. I said limit processed food. Limit processed food. You know what processed food will do to your
Mm.
system? Processed food will subject your weak and reduce activities, on your organs. You are going to subject them because of all those preservative that is in them. They contain agents that will subject your kidney and wear your kidney out. So you don't
Mm.
need processed food. You know what processed food are? Tin food. Get something natural, something without preservative. Since preservative can even still, because your body lacks the ability to do natural things themselves. Now, if you now begin to take those preservatives, those processed food, you are going to expose your cells, your body cells, to 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 get awakened to cancer cells. It's like when you have,
Mm.
if I have magnets, I have magnets here and I have iron here. When I bring the magnet and iron together, they attract. So preservative yen for they carry some of them carry cancer cells. They have carcinogenic cells that attract, and eventually it's enough that you are in menopause. Why do you want to kill yourself again? Taking most of the time. If you have to go to work, be intentional about it. Get something that is natural. Mostly at that time, it could be expensive. Get something organic
Mm.
at this stage so that you are chemical free. You are helping yourself. You are increasing your
Mm.
longevity at this time. You don't reduce your lifespan because the nature itself, at this time, your skin will be wrinkled whether you like it or not. Take a lot of vitamins. Vitamin will revitalize you. It will retain, it will help you put and restore a lot of things back. Mm. And it's menopause is not the end of life. You can still enjoy yourself. You can still have fun. You can still look good. You can still enjoy. You can still have sex. Are you getting me? You can still have sex.
Yes, ma.
If it's dry down there, get a lubricant. You don't have to get original lubricant. You can Vaseline will do the work. Forget it. If your husband is active and if the husband can help you, even with helping you halfway before he can help you 2 miles, trying to synthesize you. If it takes him 1 minute to get you up
Mm.
to the real thing, your husband can now begin to say, okay, I think I'm gonna go further helping you. At this stage, it's not a time a man will just come and just bump into you. You still gonna have sex. But it's not a time because the vagina is dry. It's dry. There isn't much lubrication as when you are like, you understand? But but for somebody
Mm.
like me, I don't think I feel any dryness there. No, no. It's as active as ever, but that won't go in every way with all of us. And menopausal sign will not
Mm.
show at the same time. It's just giving off a bracket range of the period it can occur. I can enter
Mm.
menopause totally. For now, I'm in my menopausal age. In a couple of weeks, I'll be 54. I have gotten there.
Wow.
I started, I started, I started, I won't, I started, I would have passed the other stages unknowingly because I was not observant. I wasn't ready.
Mm.
I wasn't expecting it. In my brain, I was just like this 40-year-old or 35-year-old babe. I was seeing so when I was going through that, and that's how to enjoy life. If I was expecting, I
Mm.
was expecting it. Even what was not menopausal will be menopause. I will still feel like
The
it's
term that
menopausal.
menopause.
That even when there are diagnoses that we should not confuse menopause with. Are you getting me? There are diagnoses that
Mm.
you not confuse
Yes.
menopause. There are instances where there are drugs that could bring about, cessation of menstruation. For example, there are hormonal drugs that can cause you to stop, menstruating. Mentally, psychologically, if you're not balanced, if you're depressed, you whatever, it can cease and stop your menstruation. It doesn't mean that you have attained menopause. And I'm sure a lot of
Mm.
people, even when their menopause start at age 42, they will say, I reject it. I have not started. They will cite themselves because they
Mm.
still don't want to. It's not something you should feel bad about. I'm happy. I'm happy at this stage. I'm not,
Mm.
I'm just me. I'm still just me. It's just the physiology of my body that will say that. But in my mind, I'm still a baby. So that's the way you should just, embrace life. Be happy, and even your joy. There is connection between the state of your heart and the functioning of your system. You see, there are certain, if you
Mm.
begin to feel sad, it brings about secretion of certain chemicals in your body that get accumulated, and compound, themselves, and together they go to a region of your body where they are stopped and they are blocked. Anger, hatred, all those things. This is not a stage in your menopausal
Mm.
age. You don't get things bother you. And at
Mm.
menopausal stage, you get to see that people that you see that they are not very bold before. You just see this
Mm.
boldness coming into them. They are bold, they are brave, they are not afraid to talk about anything. It's not them, it's a
Mm.
stage. It withdraws some things out of
Mm.
you and it adds something back to you. That's just the
Mm.
natural thing. It's just like you having a cut here. When I have a cut, if you have a cut, for example, if nobody comes, the blood will stop.
Mm.
Because the natural body mechanism, it will call a lot of things. They call it fibrin and all those things. And they will go
Yes.
to the site where you have the clot. Excuse me, oh, there's an emergency out here on this body, on Abidemi body. We have work to do. They call themselves and they go there. Fibrin and all those things, they now form a clot around you. Whether anybody comes, it depends. It's only when it's major blood vessels that such thing does happen, because that's a big pipe. But if it's on your skin somewhere and they put something over it, a clot will form. So the natural body has a way of,
Mm.
compensating and putting something back when something is taken. We can't be, our flow is,
Mm.
our reproductive age is come to an end. It can give us back boldness,
Mm.
ability to talk. You find life very easy. Nothing, nothing,
Mm.
nothing bothers you except you want to now bother
Mm.
yourself. So
Mm.
that's it. So if you have any question, you can begin to bring things, what I've not said.
Wow.
So that's it.
First off, before we even go into the questions, ma, like this is so enlightening. There are even something that I'm like, wow. I think somebody was saying God I beg. I'm like, this person is saying in my mind. We didn't even know that the body can go through so much
It
changes,
does.
especially for a woman. I
It
mean,
does.
you've gone through these
It
stages
does.
of menstruation. Some people have it so hard, they go through menstrual pain and all of that, and then transitioning into this menopause again, so many bodily changes that we are not aware could happen to us.
At all.
Wow. Thank you
At
so
all.
much, ma.
At
Thank you
all.
so much,
Mo.
ma, so that
Okay.
we can answer the questions that people have. I think the first question that we have here is from Moyi Adegbemi. I'm trying to bring out the question. She was talking about she said yes. So she says after a year, if one doesn't see menses again, can one stop birth control?
Can one stop birth control? No. So how old is the person?
Hmm. I
How
think
old
that's
is
one
the
of the
person?
questions this person needs to ask. Like, how old
Okay,
is the person?
I think why the person is asking is to
Mm,
ascertain whether it is safe at that time to
mm.
assume that you cannot get pregnant. Are you getting me? I don't know.
Yes.
I'm just guessing whether you can ascertain whether at that stage you should not, you cannot get pregnant. You know what? I'm going to tell you
Mm,
something. You see, you can, because there's usually 1%. It can be said that, okay,
mm,
between 45 and 55, you may not get pregnant again because you're in your menopausal
mm,
age. To be very safe, to be very safe, if I were you, I would just for over a year have my birth control
mm,
in place, still have it in case I don't want to. But the birth control as well can influence your menopause, because at times birth control affects your blood flow. So you may not be able to know
mm,
whether it is blood flow, it is a preventive medication that you are family planning, whatever that you are taking, or
mm,
menopause. So for you to really be certain, you can see your doctor, or
mm,
you see your doctor. It's
mm,
advisable to see
mm,
your doctor. But if you've
mm.
been using
Thank you
that
very
as a
much,
form
ma.
of family planning before, and you've gotten to that age, for me to be on the safe side, I used to say, greater is it that is in me than any sperm that is coming, because I'm on my guard. I don't want to trust. I don't want.
Mm,
Even when my husband was a
mm.
bit far away from us, I was under family planning, so that in case any missile comes on arrival at any time, I won't be caught unawares.
Mm. Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma. So the person that asked that question, be sure of the reason why the menses stopped in the first place. Probably it was because of your contraceptive or whatever, and check with your doctor to be double sure. Like we are saying, everything we are saying here is there are the things that you can do to promote your own health, to do personally. We are not doctors and we are not prescribing.
At
So
all.
before you even do anything, if you are not sure, please see your doctor. These are like the common things. Anybody, you can read it even on the internet, to say reduce your carbohydrates intake,
Yeah,
manage the
yeah,
way you eat, do your
yeah,
exercise. These are like the things you can do on your own. But when it
yeah.
comes to, the use around medications, please see your doctor. Thank you. So we go to the next question. Says, can menopause be prevented or delayed?
You can't. It's natural. It is natural, except you want to fasten it. You can fasten it. You can fasten it. I don't think it can be. You know why you can fasten it? Because some people can do tubal ligation. When you do tubal ligation,
Mm,
they cut their ovaries or they tie their tubes. All those
mm,
functions ceases. It ceases.
mm,
It ceases.
mm,
But you can't
mm,
prevent it. Even when you feel that you can't, are you going to prevent it at age? It's a natural thing that will occur. It's a natural thing that you will occur. And you can't say you have prevented it when you are age 20 or age 40. And you can't say you are doing
mm,
it when you are age 45 or 40. Yeah, because at that stage, it is expected naturally to happen. So it's not a disease, not preventable.
mm,
But whether you like it or not, the rain will stop.
mm,
It's like you are in winter and you are saying winter is not going to go. I'm preventing winter. Autumn is there. Summer is there. No,
mm,
no, no. We are preventing summer. Summer cannot come. It's a natural cycle. The way nature and the weather comes, the weather is like menstrual cycle. You have things that happen over the
mm,
year. You have at the later part of the year where you find in winter that there is the day is longer than night, and the night is longer than day. Those things are natural things that can never be stopped. It can't. You can with the
Thank you
use of
very
drug,
thank you.
with the use of drug, because I told you that at times some drugs will make you think that you are under menopause. You may not actually be at the
Mm,
stage of menopause at 45. Some people can be there.
mm,
But because you are taking natural preventive family planning drugs, which actually inhibits those hormones from being produced, you can think that you are preventing it, but it's the effect of the drugs that you are taking. See your doctor. If you are so bothered, see your
mm.
doctor.
Thank you very much, Ma. So obviously it's like it's if you can't, you know, alter some physical or physiological processes, just from what mommy has just said, you can't, it's almost, you can't, except probably, there are some processes that happened before, like tubal ligation, and it causes the message to cease. I'm just trying to say what she has said. Another question here, Ma. Does genetics or family history or specific genes have roles to play in the timing of menopause?
It does. It does. For example, if your mom in your lineage, there are some things that is so natural that even science cannot explain. Because you
Mm,
have that gene, your DNA of your mom, the likelihood that, for example, when I got, I started menstruating when I was in class 4. I was flat in
mm,
front, flat at the back. Even when I started menstruating, there was nothing here. My gonads or breast was not. I was almost going out of secondary school before I started my menstruation. There's some girls, and it's the
mm,
likelihood that one of my girls will follow suit my line or my pattern
mm,
is there. The chances is there,
mm,
except they are not from me. So they may not, but the
mm,
likelihood that they are going to follow my trend is going to be there. We have parents who
mm,
have this menorrhea, painful menstruation, for example. Most of the girls have painful menorrhea. When I say painful menorrhea, painful and dysmenorrhea, I'm talking of eye pain. You understand? Naturally, you're supposed to happen when you have your menstruation, but some people get it to the another level. You have seen people who adopt that from their mom. So the likelihood
mm,
that the chances that like I've entered my menopause at age 54 for now, the likelihood that I'm gonna be there and my children are gonna attain that child, attain that stage is there.
mm,
It is genetical,
mm,
so it's
mm.
transferable.
Thank you so much.
It's transferable.
Mm. Thank you so much, Ma. So another question here. Oh, I think two people are even asking the same question. They
Okay.
say, does early start of menstruation, that's menarche, indicate the early start of menopause?
We wouldn't say no. It don't. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But it now depends. Some people, even me, I cannot put roof. I can't have roof fire on the mountain. There is probability even when you feel that you have not had a menstruation for 2 years. Some people have had sex at age 49 and they got pregnant. Are you getting me?
Mm,
So it now depends on how well your ovaries is being stimulated to produce
mm,
estrogen, or how well the pituitary gland is stimulating your ovaries. Some people's ovaries,
mm,
bang bang, it is some people's ovaries they produce and they are so active. Their follicles, the follicles in their ovaries, the cells are so active that they keep producing. They keep producing. It's just like you know why you add the ovaries in man and in women, you have this and the scrotum in men.
mm,
Why some 80-year-old men they still they still can fertilize a man, a woman,
mm,
even though
mm,
their own gonads as well. It doesn't. You think men too they menstruate because their gonads, the ability to fertilize as well reduces
mm,
as age advances. But it is proven, science has proven it, and practical testimonies has shown that even a 90-year-old man, if persuaded to ejaculate, the sperm can still
mm,
can still fertilize a egg. If you may not be able to
mm,
do it actively as in having physical sex, they will take his sperm and
mm,
go and fertilize it. through artificial insemination. Are you getting me?
Mm.
So if you at
Yes.
for the fact that you started early does not mean that you will start you will go into menopause early or late. As far as
Mm.
you're luteinizing, those hormones are still your gonads, your reproductive
Mm.
hormones are still very well produced. You will not go into menopause.
Mm.
But if you are
Mm.
still in your
Thank you so
reproductive
much.
age, if you are still in your reproductive age and you are now showing signs of they are now saying that you still want to be pregnant, then they can aid you by giving you aiding you to stimulate your ovaries to produce that hormone.
This session, and more so because it is so practical. Like, even somebody who has never been to the four walls of a classroom can literally understand what menopause is. And I am so glad that all of us have been informed about, this stage that either we are experiencing. I mean, from the people that are here or the people that are going to watch, either we are experiencing, we are going to experience, or we even have people experiencing it. We know, what is going on in their body. And even our husbands, our men can, understand what we are going through. They can be patient. They can know what to do when things are, when she's acting this way, or when this is happening to this. You don't have to judge to say, pregnancy, you had the excuse of being fat. um Breastfeeding, you had the excuse of being fat. Now menopause, you are still fat. So this is the time that, this is one of the sessions that is educating people, because personally there are some things that I heard then I'm like, so we are still going to go through this, like, is there no stop? But and more amazingly is, the speaker herself. You can see how beautiful she is looking. One, how beautiful she's presenting the situation to us. Like, menopause is not a death sentence, because at least
Mm.
I encountered a number of women, because I talk to, older women. I love to learn from their wisdom, and some of them, because they feel like probably they are aging, maybe their husband will no more be interested in them. It is hard for them to even open up to their husbands to say, I've not seen my menses in like few months, and they don't even know what is going on with them. They see some things in their bodies, they don't know what is happening, and some of them don't even know what they are.
Yeah,
Watch this. Yeah. So another thing before we go is, like, Mrs. Oladipo is, one of the seasoned mentors that we have around. She also has, a YouTube channel called Stronger Together,
so that together.
where you can learn. She's going to be releasing podcasts about marriage. Please, let's subscribe in our multitude. Please, before we go, let's subscribe to that YouTube channel and look forward to our sessions. It's going to be mind blowing and amazing. Like I said, she's one
2025.
of the seasoned people. She has 25 years of experience in marriage. She's married for 25 years. And that is not something to just throw in the bin. It is a lot for her to be, and not just married, happily married for 25 years. That's something to learn. And we are so glad, Matt, to have you today. Thank
Thank
you
you for
for
having me.
teaching us. Thank you for even, learning for us, because I know that before this session, you have even gone back to open the books again, because these things that you are telling us, some of them are like updated knowledge. They are not just things that we have read in the textbooks. We can thank you so much, Ma, for your sacrifice. Thank you
Thank
for the love. Thank you for the time, for the resources. And
thank
I'm
you.
glad that everybody has, enjoyed this program. And once again, to everybody who is watching, who has commented, who has learned, thank you for your time. For more than 1 hour that you have spent with us, it's been an amazing time,
Thank
to
you.
organize and to see this happen. So,
Thank you.
in the absence of no other question, we will call this webinar a
Thanks,
close. I don't know
everybody.
if Mommy has anything to
Thank
say
you,
before we
everyone.
go.
Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening. Without you, we wouldn't have been talking to the hair. But thank you. Thanks for your time
Yeah,
as well. Thanks,
yeah,
Lola. Thank you.
yeah.
Amazing job.
Thank
Well
you so
done.
much. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. All right, all right. We will put this webinar to a close. Thank you so much, and we'll see you
Thank
in
you.
the next live.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.